Hello. Welcome to this new video. This time we're going to expand on Event Viewer. And in this case, we're going to be talking about how to create specific alerts on specific events recorded by Event Viewer. Now, remember that Windows event logs are automatically logging a lot of the activity on your system, whether you enable that or not. That's a default setting, but you have the option of customizing what's logged or not, or to enable or disable. Now, the categories we have is application, security, setup, and system. And in this case, we're talking about security. Now, let me show you a couple of things to make this easier for us to go through. Let's say that I create a new user on this computer, or a new user is created. Let me call this Superman, and I'm going to assign a password to it. Now, this activity is going to create an event ID, an event that is going to be categorized by an ID, as you can see here. Now, that event is account was created 4720 is the event ID, and if I scroll down, you're going to see that this is going to display the user name that was created. Now, what you can do if you want is to set up an alert, so every time that a specific action is recorded and generates an event ID, for instance, every time that a new user is created on a computer, that's going to send an alert somewhere. Somehow it's going to do something, right? And let me rephrase that, not necessarily sending an alert, it could be taking an action. So the way you do it, you right click on that event. Let me just come here, and you click on attach task to this event. When that happens, let's just wait for that to pop up. So you'll notice that the default name is Windows Security, Microsoft Windows Security Audit 4720. For me, it is a best practice to leave the security ID, but you could name it anything you want. I'm going to put right here, new user ID 4720, the description, whatever you want to have for the description, and you're going to click next. Notice that this is going to be automatically populated for you because you are selecting that specific event. I'm going to show you how to create tasks on events that you don't select later. So you're going to click on next. And now you're going to have three options, and out of those three options, only one of them is going to work, and that is start a program. You don't have the option of sending emails or display messages anymore. That was an option back then. So when you click on start program, every time that event is triggered, it's going to automatically execute whatever program you are specifying. And by program, we're talking about either a batch file, a program, or a PowerShell script that you write. In my case, let me show you. I have created a batch file, which is super simple, just for this video, and I call that reboot, and that's exactly what's gonna do. So let me share this or edit this in Notepad. So, and the command is super simple. It is just shutdown -R-T-O1. And that's going to happen if I select this. So let me come here, and I'm going to select that program. Okay, so I'm going to do next. That's going to be the name, and this is a trigger and the action that's going to happen. And I'm going to click finish. Now that task has been created. So next time a user is created, that's going to automatically generate an event ID of 4720, which is gonna execute the program that we specified previously, which is a batch file. Now, if I come here to Task Scheduler, if you go to Event Viewer Tasks, here is the task that I created. Now, nothing is going to happen unless that condition is triggered, right? And the condition is that the system sees ID 4720. For instance, let me go back to here, and I am going to, let's see, change the group membership of this user. Now, this user is not going to be the administrator anymore. It's going to be a regular user. Now, if I go to security, that condition was not met, right? Because it's not 4720. But if I go back and I create a new user, let me come here, and I'm gonna be, what did I create? The Superman, super is the name of the user, right? So I'm gonna assign a password to it. Now, notice that as soon as I click on create, event ID 4720 is going to be generated, and that's going to execute the program that I specified, and that is to reboot the computer. So I'm going to click create. I'm going to close this. And notice this, the system is restarting. I'm going to pause the video until it reboots, and we'll continue then. Okay, so the system is back online and you get the concept, right? Now, I have to admit that this example of rebooting the system when, somebody creates a new user is not the best example. This is just for demonstration purposes. But you get the idea that you can create a task. Perhaps you can create an event that if a new process is created on the system, it activates the antivirus software, because you know that once you set up your computer, nothing like that should change, right? So you get the idea of the things that you can do. Now, remember that we don't have the option of sending emails anymore. And you take care of that when you send the logs to a SIM, such as Splunk, Datadog, or any of the other big players, and then you can create alerts from there to email you or send you a Slack message, so on and so forth. The other thing that I want to mention is this. Let's say that you want to create an alert, or you want to create a task, I should say, on an event that hasn't happened yet, right? As you could see, everything that you see here is because it has happened. But let's say that you want to create an event on an event that hasn't happened. For instance, that somebody clears the event logs, because that's one of the things that usually attackers do. Once they connect to a system, they clear the event logs to erase all the tracks. So as you could see, you're not going to be able to select that from here, but you can still create the task. If you go to task scheduler and event tasks, you can, let me expand this. You can create a task. Just click here, and you have the idea, just assign the task name, events cleared, and then just go to triggers, create new triggers. And as you could see, when the task is gonna begin on a schedule, but this is not what I was looking for. Actually, I was looking for the conditions, right? When you create a task, you must specify an action that occurs when the task starts. Conditions. So yes, it's the action. So new. Actually, this is not what I'm looking for. Where did it go? It's gotta be the trigger, because that's what I'm looking for. What triggers that? On a schedule. On an event. This is what I was looking for. Oh gosh. So when you do on an event, you have to select the logs that you want to base that trigger on. And in this case, I'm going to do security. As you could see, you have multiple options right there. And then on the event ID, you have to specify the event ID that you want that trigger to be based on, right? So in my case, I can do 1102, but you could do whatever you want. It's what you're looking for. So I'm gonna click on OK. And then on the actions, you can do, start program, send an email, which is deprecated and all that. So I'm gonna look for the same program or whatever script you create, and I'm gonna click on OK, OK, and then that's gonna go. You can also look at that task that was created before if you need an idea of if you need to know what settings do you want to set right here. Something that you have to keep in mind, and this is something that you must understand, is that this task is going to be created, or it's going to be executed, I should say, under the privileges of the user that you are creating the task under. Now, in this case, this user is an admin user and the task is going to run. That's why I'm going to be able to do many things. But if you're creating a task with a user that has limited privileges, that task may not run depending on what you're trying to execute, because that user may not have the privileges to run that specific task. Now, I hope this was useful to you. The sky is the limit, I should say. The example that I gave you of just creating or rebooting the system is basic, but you get the concept. You can create an advanced PowerShell script to perform a specific task. You can delete, let's say that you set up an action that if a user is created, that user is deleted and the computer rebooted, and then many things happens, right? You could do that as long as you know how to script it and you can point to it. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this was useful and informational to you. If it was, leave it on the comments. I'd like to know that you're benefiting from this. Also, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking on the like button. I would really appreciate that. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next video.